the economy. Joining me now is Diane Swonk. She's president of DS Economics, here to talk about the economy, and good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Angie.
You are one of the top economists of our time. Oh yes.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Angie.
You bet. And I know that you use more than just government numbers to gauge the economy. So what do you look at overall, just when you're out and about in your world and you're watching what's going on?
Well, besides talking to a lot of CEOs, which I get to do on a real-time basis, and really seeing the real economy, which is, what I love about my job rather than just the statistics, at the end of the day, your experience matters. You don't want to take too much out of anecdotes, but I remember in 1999 when the economy was just booming, and I went up to, it was old, I think, Marshall Field's at that point in time, and I made the chance, at like 10 o'clock in the morning to try to buy a sweater for a Christmas present, and there was no one in front of me, and the person behind the counter took like 20 minutes to ring me up because she didn't know how to work the computer, and I thought, this is the best economy I've ever seen, because the worse the service is behind the counter, the less skills it requires to get a job. And that really is, there was a book written actually after 2000 about, it was a guy who worked off of San Francisco on a ship, and he was a nudist. And they let him work the night shift. I wouldn't want to sit in a seat afterwards. But that this was sort of like you were willing to sort of do anything to get quality people in, even if they didn't want to wear clothes. I mean, so those things, the service that you get behind the counter, the quality of the person. When I walk into a store, and this has happened many times, people recognize me from the financial services industry and they're waiting on me. Happened in Best Buy, happened in Nordstrom's, and they, formerly were working for major firms like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. That is also very striking, and it tells you something about, where these people are now and how the crisis affected them.
Let's talk about what you are hearing from CEOs, because I know you do have a lot of important conversations. So what are you hearing? They're very uncertain about policy at the moment. They're uncertain about regulations, but the biggest thing you hear about is millennials. Millennials. What do we do about millennials? And they think of millennials as sort of this, odd creature, and they can't get their arms around them, and they're quite angry with them. They sort of have, some of them really do go to great lengths to understand them, but they don't understand why these kids are not more loyal, why they're not, trying to climb the ladder like, their previous generations or we did. And I always try to sort of step back a little bit and say, well, let's think about what these millennials graduated into. Oldest millennials turned 34 this year. They graduated before the crisis. They're having babies now. It wasn't just a cold winter in Chicago. There's a lot of pregnant women out there. Another gauge.
Yes, and they had less debt and got better jobs. And they rented longer, but now they're buying homes and trading up instead of first-time buyer homes. Their younger siblings, however, graduated in one of the worst labor markets. They took on a lot of debt, and the first thing to be cut was entry-level wages. Also, they feel like the ladder to climb up has been pulled up on them because a lot of HR departments cut all of their professional development. So not only do they have less wages, which as a labor economist, that means your free time's worth more to you, so you're going to feel less loyal, but they don't have the relationships with the firm and the commitment from the firm side either. And so if you walk in their moccasins, the world is a lot more hostile to them, so why should they be loyal?
Well, thank you so much for bringing your insights to us once again, Diane Swonk.
Thank you.